Hi, Julissa. I didn't introduce myself earlier. I'm Jimena with MSP.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I was having some technical difficulties, and so I just turned off my camera real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, in Disney World.
Right.
And we're live on Facebook. Cool.
Okay. I'm a star.
Yeah.
So since we're live, are you able to see if there's anybody on, or can you monitor comments or questions?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
And I think it has one person viewing, and I think that's me on my profile. Well, I will be looking throughout the presentation to see if we have any comments or viewership on Facebook.
Okay. We have one person that's not staff. So I'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll just get started. I will unmute myself. So it's 5 after, so we'll go ahead and get started. All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Aaron Sorrell. I'm with Community Planning Insights. We are a consulting firm out of Dayton, Ohio, working with the City of Brookhaven to develop the 2021 through 2025 Consolidated Plan and the impediments to fair housing choice study. So I'm going to start to share my screen to go through a brief presentation to give a little bit of background on what these plans are, and then we'll go through some conversation questions about the best way or the priorities, community development priorities in Brookhaven, and how these funds should be invested. So let me go ahead and start this. So here are the two main contacts for the plan. Patty Hansen at the City of Brookhaven, and then myself. Again, my name is Aaron at Community Planning Insights. We're a consulting firm currently out of Dayton. So we are going to review the HUD required plans and studies, sort of why we're here, get sort of the background of the plans, what they're for. We'll go through the eligible uses of funds and sort of the box of how these funds can be applied and what's eligible and what isn't, because that matters significantly. And then we'll discuss the community needs and priorities, and then I'll talk about next steps. So the purpose of today is to provide some background on these plans. Brookhaven is a new CDBG entitlement community. So this will be the first year that Brookhaven has ever accessed or has been able to access these funds. And so these two documents are required by HUD. And again, we'll talk about the community needs and then discuss funding priorities. So there are two plans that we are developing. The first is called the Analysis of Impediments to Fair Housing Choice. It's a scan or a look of the community, really how it relates to fair housing and housing discrimination historically, and if it's currently occurring. We look at both the public and the private sector policies. On the public sector, that mainly relates to zoning codes and whether or not the zoning code or other development codes inadvertently increase or intentionally increase the cost of housing. That can be done through impact fees. Those are pretty common around the country. And then on the private sector, we look at banking policies. Our small businesses and neighborhoods of color, do they have access to banking services, credit? Is there a disproportionate lending disparity between minority households or white households? So we look at those lending practices to see if we see any signs of intentional discrimination. And then we will be making recommendations on ways to overcome that. All jurisdictions that receive HUD funds are required to affirmatively further fair housing, which means that they need to actively undertake activities to increase the access and availability of housing. That can be done either in a variety of ways. It can be done through education, which is the most common, making sure people are aware of their rights under the Fair Housing Act. It could also be done in more deliberate manners, such as actually participating in the development of affordable housing. There is no prescribed right or wrong way of doing it. It is up to the jurisdiction, and so every plan is designed to fit that jurisdiction's needs. The second study or plan that is being developed is the 2021 through 2025 Consolidated Plan. It is a 5-year plan that looks at the housing, economic, and community development needs of the community and drills down into the neighborhoods to see what the priorities are and what the needs of that neighborhood, specifically low and moderate income neighborhoods are. And that can be issues such as housing repair, housing accessibility, or ADA accessibility for aging households. It can be things such as job creation or job training needs. It's a variety of needs that the community determines. And the plan outlines a series of goals and objectives that are to be addressed over that 5-year period. Again, this is tailored to the community. There are, for each CDBG entitlement community, every plan is different because every community has different needs and every community has different strengths and weaknesses as far as the abilities to carry out those activities. And what I mean by that is the depth or the number of nonprofits that can be working in a neighborhood, or the ability of the jurisdiction to undertake various infrastructure type projects. So this plan is required to access CDBG funds. We estimate that approximately $1.8 million will be made available to Brookhaven over that 5-year period. Right now, we are estimating $375,000 annually. That can change. That is solely determined by Congress and how much is appropriated to the CDBG program. It also depends on the number of new entitlement communities coming online at any given year. As I said, this is Brookhaven's first opportunity to be a HUD entitlement community, and there are going to be 10 to 12 cities in the same situation as Brookhaven around the country. Whoops, wrong way. So the CDBG program is a very broad based program to address needs. It is the activities, really, when you think about it, the activities need to fall into one of 3 buckets to be eligible. The activity needs to benefit either a low or moderate income person or area, and I'll get into that a little bit later. The activity needs to address slum or blight, and that really deals with buildings and structures that are beyond repair. Also deals with areas that have issues of flooding or natural disasters that are causing the areas to become blighted. And then lastly is the third national objective is addressing an urgent need. This is a national objective that is rarely used until recently with COVID, but basically addressing an urgent need means that there are no other resources available for that community to address that need. You see this used in areas that have been hit hard by hurricanes or tornadoes, where there are no other available resources for the jurisdiction to address those issues outside of CDBG. 99% of the funds that are going to be used in Brookhaven will fall under the benefiting low and moderate income persons category. So the broad categories of eligible activities include public infrastructure. That can be streets, lighting, sidewalks, ADA accessible curb cuts, bike trails, things of that nature. Economic development largely falls into either job training or job creation. Again, this is training for low and moderate income individuals, or providing new jobs for low and moderate income Brookhaven residents. Parks and recreation can include building new parks or upgrading the existing parks, including expansion and also then new amenities such as playground equipment, pools, splash pads, recreation centers, but those need to be in low and moderate income areas. Housing rehabilitation or housing services, those types of activities deal with rehabilitation. So emergency needs such as roof repair, windows, aging in place services. So helping seniors who need grab bars or now have mobility impairments, making their homes more ADA accessible, all fall under housing rehabilitation. Can also be used for down payment assistance for individuals who want to buy a home. It can also be used for emergency rental assistance, which has become really more of an issue in the COVID era. Public service projects are available, but there is a cap to the amount of funding that can be used for public service programs. And public service programs are really those programs and activities that deal with counseling, job training. That there is the act of training or counseling is really what fall under public service programs. Assistance to the homeless, things of that nature. And then blight removal is really demolition, is what that comes down to. So this is the consolidated planning process. We are at the very top, which is determining needs. And then we work clockwise through the process, setting priorities, determining resources, setting those goals, which are the activities that are commensurate with the available resources, and then the implementation. And every year there's an implementation plan called the action plan. And so for this 5-year period, there will be 5 separate action plans. And then every year there's an evaluation of how well the jurisdiction did in implementing the prior year programs, and did the jurisdiction meet the goals that it was intended to meet? Did it solve the problems it was intending to solve? And then a self-evaluation of, how can we do better and how can we be more effective moving forward? And at each decision point or touch point, we're consulting with the community. So we're consulting with the stakeholders that are actually doing the work, such as our nonprofit partners or education or religious institutions who are doing this, doing the work, and then also with the broad community, just making sure that we are, the goals are aligned with the community's priorities. So this is a map of Brookhaven. You can see Brookhaven outlined here. These are the municipal boundaries. The blue areas are the low and moderate income census tracts. Activities that directly benefit individuals, so that you are tying that benefit to a person. Those can be undertaken anywhere in the city. So if you are helping a low-income senior address needs at their house, that can take place anywhere. Those activities that benefit neighborhoods or can't be necessarily attributed to an individual person must take place in these low moderate income area census tracts. So infrastructure projects, lighting, sidewalks, park enhancements, those type of broad benefit activities need to take place in the low moderate income census tract area. The areas outside of Brookhaven are under the direction, so to speak, or the funding direction of the county. The county can spend money in Brookhaven, and DeKalb County and Brookhaven will coordinate on efforts within the city, but Brookhaven cannot spend its money outside of its municipal boundaries. When you think of the funding hierarchy, it's like a inverted wedding cake. The federal government has the largest sort of jurisdiction over where it spends the money. Then the states can spend anywhere in Georgia. The county can spend anywhere in the county. Brookhaven is limited to spending in Brookhaven. So that is kind of the hierarchy of spending. But as part of this process of developing plans, we will be coordinating with Brookhaven, or excuse me, with DeKalb County and those agencies that cross municipal boundaries based on their work plans and activities, to make sure that all of our efforts are coordinated in the most impactful and efficient manner as possible. So here's our schedule. We are in the needs gathering process right now. So there was a community survey released in early February. We will be having a draft plan released in about 30 days. So this is an accelerated process. In mid-April, we will be presenting the plan and any comments that we've received so far to City Council. In May, there will be the submission to HUD. This plan is due May 15th, and activities can commence on July 1st. That will be when the 5-year plan starts. So we are at the very beginning stages of getting comments and getting input from residents. And so that's why we're here today, is to get your feedback and thoughts. So with that, I see one person online who I don't know, and they are listed as DS. Do you have any thoughts or comments on the community development needs or priorities in Brookhaven? Jalissa, you're watching Facebook. Are there any comments or questions?
Not at the moment.
Do you want me to continue to share the screen? How is best for you, or do we just wait?
We can share the screen. I don't think there's.
Hi, Erin, this is Patty.
Hey, Patty, how are you?
All right, sorry, I was a couple minutes late. Thank you. It was a great presentation. And thank you to the people that attended. DS, if you would like to comment, you need to unmute yourself. But if you don't want to comment, that's fine. I was just wondering, Erin, were you able to get an attendance? So we have names of folks who have attended?
Yes, this will.
Or do you need to? Okay.
Everybody who signs on, I will have a list of.
Okay, great. And also, unfortunately, in the age of COVID, this is not unusual to not have huge numbers of people attending. But if those who are here could share this presentation, we absolutely are taking comments for, about almost 90 more days, I think. So that this presentation will get posted on the city's CDBG page. So thank you for being here. But if you are unable to comment, or friends that now that you've looked at this might be more interested in finding out more about that, please let us know, because we'd be really happy to absolutely share the presentation or answer any more questions or take any comments. Does that pretty much cover?
And I've just highlighted the excuse me, the contact section. So if people do have, if they want to email comments directly, they can.
And we will have this under this presentation under presentations on the CDBG page, which is brookhavenga.gov and then /community development, and CDBG will be on the left.
So Patty, I'll leave this up to you. Since it was advertised from 6:30 to 8, I can stay online until for that time to answer any questions that somebody might pop in and ask. I don't think we need to stream it for the next hour.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as if you can keep the Zoom open in case somebody pops in and asks.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
That would be great. And thank you to people that did attend. We appreciate it. I think I see a new attendee, Katie Crosby.
She's on our team.
Oh, okay. All right, so I think you're fine. And again, it's, it's not unusual in this time to have, for it to be difficult for people to do Monday evening meetings or any evening. But we're getting a lot of input from community members who are, reaching out to us bit by bit and our focus groups. So we really appreciate people being here for this.
I will add, since this is live on Facebook and it will stay on our Facebook page, people are welcome to, if they view it, say tomorrow or during the week, to email us, and, make their comments be known. It doesn't have to be tonight.
No,
Right.
we'll take comments all the way through, mid-April, really.
Right, yeah. So if you could talk it up in the communities, we would really appreciate that.
I will say that you, as a community, have done fantastic on survey results. You're about 1% of your population, which is a lot.
Wow.
You've blown away Grand Rapids in Kent County, a population of 300,000, and you've blown away the responses from them.
That's great. That's thanks a lot to Jalissa and her community outreach and the groups that we have asked to send things out. So thank you. That's great news. And that survey is staying live, by the way. So if you guys have not completed it yet or shared it with friends, please do. We good?
Yeah, I will hang out and ask any questions of folks who hop on between now and 8 o'clock.
Great. Thank you very much.
Jalissa, can I stop streaming live?
Yes, you can.